What if everything you thought you knew was a lie? Syria's bold move. Russia out. The truth will shock you. The geopolitical landscape is shifting fast. And no one saw this coming. Syria's latest decision to push Russia out is sending shockwaves worldwide. What does this mean for global power dynamics? Is there more to the story than meets the eye? In this breaking report, Streamline News examines the real reasons behind Syria's bold move, the impact on international relations, and what it could mean for the future of the region. The Middle East, a region synonymous with volatility and shifting alliances, is once again at a crossroads. The Syrian government's decision to expel Russian forces marks a significant turning point. This unexpected move, ending Russia's lease on the Tartus port, has sent shock waves through the international community. The implications are far-reaching, potentially reshaping alliances and power dynamics in the region. For years, Russia enjoyed a privileged position in Syria, propping up the Assad regime. The Tartus port served as a crucial logistical hub for the Russian Navy. However, the recent turn of events has brought an abrupt end to this arrangement. The expulsion of Russian forces from Syria carries global significance. It underscores Russia's growing isolation on the world stage. The move also highlights the shifting sands of power, with countries like Syria asserting their sovereignty. The situation in Syria remains fluid, and the long-term consequences are yet to be fully understood. This event signifies a seismic shift in the Middle East with the potential to reshape the region's geopolitical order. The world watches with bated breath as this new chapter unfolds. The dramatic events unfolding in Syria today are inextricably linked to the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime in December 2024. Assad's rule, characterized by brutality and repression, finally came to an end after years of civil war that left the country devastated and deeply divided. The collapse of his regime paved the way for a new era in Syrian politics, one marked by a distinct shift away from Russia's influence. The new Syrian government, formed in the wake of Assad's downfall, inherited a country in ruins. Years of conflict had shattered its infrastructure, crippled its economy, and displaced millions of its people. Faced with the daunting task of rebuilding their nation, the new leadership made a decisive break from the policies of the previous regime, including its close ties with Moscow. This shift in allegiance is not merely symbolic, it reflects a fundamental change in Syria's strategic calculus. The new government, seeking to rebuild its country and reassert its sovereignty, views Russia's presence as a legacy of the old regime, a reminder of a dark chapter in Syria's history. The expulsion of Russian forces should be seen within this context. It is a powerful symbol of Syria's determination to chart a new course, one free from the shadow of foreign influence. This bold move signals the dawn of a new era in Syria, one where the country seeks to reclaim its destiny and forge its own path on the international stage. The termination of Russia's lease on the Tartus port represents a significant setback for Moscow's strategic ambitions in the Mediterranean region. For decades, Russia viewed Tartus as a crucial element of its naval strategy, providing a logistical hub for its warships operating in the eastern Mediterranean. This strategically located port allowed Russia to project power far beyond its borders, enhancing its influence in a region of paramount geopolitical importance. The loss of Tartus weakens Russia's ability to operate effectively in the Mediterranean. Without this vital resupply and repair facility, Russian warships will face significant logistical challenges, limiting their operational range and endurance. This development deals a blow to Russia's efforts to reassert itself as a major naval power, undermining its ability to project force and influence events in the region. Beyond its immediate military implications, the loss of Tartus also carries significant symbolic weight. It serves as a potent reminder of Russia's waning influence in the Middle East. The image of Russian warships withdrawing from what was once a symbol of Moscow's regional clout sends a clear message to the world. Russia's grip on the region is slipping. This development is likely to embolden other regional actors who may feel less constrained in challenging Russian interests. The loss of Tartus represents a significant setback for Russia's ambitions in the Middle East, one that will reverberate through the region for years to come. Section 4. The logistical nightmare of withdrawal. The expulsion of Russian forces from Syria has presented Moscow with a logistical nightmare. The Kremlin is now faced with the daunting task of withdrawing troops, equipment, and supplies from a country in a state of flux. The situation is further complicated by the limited capacity of the Khmeimim Air Base, Russia's primary remaining military facility in Syria, which is ill-equipped to handle the sudden surge in evacuation needs. Initial attempts to evacuate personnel and equipment via the Tartus port were met with resistance, further exacerbating the logistical challenges. Hundreds of trucks carrying military hardware and personal belongings were stranded, unable to leave Syrian territory. This bottleneck highlighted the vulnerability of Russia's logistical chain, exposing the limitations of its ability to project and withdraw forces in a timely and efficient manner. The Kremlin has been tight-lipped about the full extent of the logistical challenges it faces in Syria. However, reports from the region paint a picture of chaos and disarray, with Russian forces struggling to cope with the unexpected turn of events. The withdrawal process, initially envisioned as a carefully orchestrated maneuver, is rapidly turning into a scramble to salvage what it can before its remaining foothold in Syria completely disappears. This logistical nightmare has exposed vulnerabilities in Russia's military capabilities, raising questions about its ability to conduct complex operations far from its borders. The chaotic withdrawal from Syria serves as a stark reminder of the importance of robust logistical planning and the need for adaptability in the face of unforeseen circumstances. Section 5. A blow to Russia's image on the world stage. The expulsion of Russian forces from Syria represents a significant blow to Moscow's image on the world stage. For years, Russia has sought to portray itself as a reliable ally, a dependable partner capable of projecting power and safeguarding its interests far from its borders. The events in Syria, however, have exposed the limits of this narrative, revealing a fragility beneath the veneer of strength. The abrupt termination of Russia's lease on the Tartus port, coupled with the chaotic withdrawal of its forces, has cast doubt on Moscow's credibility as a strategic partner. The image of Russian troops being forced to withdraw from a country where they once held sway undermines Moscow's efforts to position itself as a dominant force in the Middle East. This perception of weakness is further compounded by the fact that Russia appears unable to prevent or effectively respond to the Syrian government's actions. The Kremlin's rhetoric, marked by a mix of bluster and resignation, has done little to dispel the notion that Russia has been outmaneuvered and humiliated on the world stage. The damage to Russia's international reputation extends beyond the Middle East. The events in Syria, coming on the heels of its ongoing struggles in Ukraine, have further tarnished Moscow's image, portraying it as an unreliable partner prone to miscalculation and overreach. This perception is likely to hinder Russia's efforts to advance its interests on the global stage, making it more difficult to forge alliances and project influence in a world increasingly wary of its intentions. Section 6. Economic repercussions of a forced departure. The forced withdrawal from Syria carries significant economic implications for Russia, a country already grappling with the financial strain of its protracted war in Ukraine. The loss of the Tartus port, in particular, represents a substantial financial setback, as Moscow had invested heavily in modernizing the facility to serve as a key logistical hub for its Mediterranean fleet. The Kremlin had poured an estimated $500 million into upgrading the Tartus port, aiming to transform it into a state-of-the-art naval facility capable of accommodating larger warships and handling increased traffic. This investment, now effectively wasted, highlights the high cost of Russia's miscalculation in Syria. The economic fallout from the Syrian withdrawal extends beyond the lost investment in Tartus. The Kremlin now faces the added costs of evacuating personnel and equipment, a complex and expensive undertaking, further aggravated by the logistical challenges involved. Moreover, the need to reroute naval vessels and supplies, now deprived of their Syrian logistical hub, will result in increased operational costs for the Russian Navy. These unexpected expenses come at a time when Russia's economy is already reeling from Western sanctions imposed in response to the war in Ukraine. The combined pressure of these economic blows will likely strain Russia's budget, potentially forcing the Kremlin to make difficult choices regarding its domestic and foreign policy priorities. What's your take on this? Drop a comment below, like and share to spread awareness. Subscribe to Streamline News and turn on notifications so you never miss a critical update.